This story is just another really bad one. This kid looks so miserable. Okay, so they have surveillance photos that show him 4 days before being reported missing. I think the day they reported was it the 20th? Yeah, on the 20th. So 4 days prior was on the 16th. And that was the day the mom came, right? They said something about like the mom showed up in areas in between these days, right? And so there's a question like, was he, like, you have to ask these questions. Was he alive after that day? Because they said that she came later in the evening. I would have to reference the story again, but they said something that she came later in the evening and he waterboarded it, just some bullshit. And we don't know when this was, if it was this day, the day, whatever. But look at, he just, the way he walks in with his hand on his head. I've never seen anything like this. So he's walking in with the kid with his hand on his head. I mean, I wish I could see the actual footage of like how this is going on. But then look at the kid at the table. He looks so miserable. Look at him. And then he's just like talking to him like, oh my God, I remember my grandma doing this crap. Oh, in public that I had to go hang out with her. And it was just like, your manners, this. I don't know. And it would just be like me sitting totally like this. And she wouldn't even care. And it's just like this power control thing of just being this monster. And then my parents would leave me with her alone on purpose. Like they did that. That's why I won't fly, man. I will never fly again now. No way. It was almost like the mindset of sending your kids to a military school. It's like, we're going to send you to your grandma's. Like, she's going to put you into shape. And she's like a total abuser. Why is she doing weird shit to me in a bathtub? You know what I mean? We could look at that as a sexual abuse. It's not one that I would have particularly had looked at back then as one, because it's not how you would think. But she's getting me naked and scrubbing me down and doing crazy shit and then saying how filthy I am and all over my body, dude. So, yes, you could look at that as a sexual abuse. That's just disgusting. So then it's like, while the owner declined on camera to interview, he tells us Vaughn was in that day getting an ignition interlock system put in his car. He says during their visit to the shop, Elijah was quiet and sitting at a table with Vaughn. He says he didn't notice anything unusual about his behavior. Oh, you don't think so? You think that looks like a normal kid too, like that? You guys are nuts. When the news broke of Vaughn being tied to Elijah, the shop owner recognized the name and went back to his records. He saw Vaughn was a recent customer before looking back at the surveillance footage, seeing Elijah. What did he go in here for? An ignition interlock system put in his car. So he's doing something with his car. He has since given the video to Two Rivers Police. So we also been able to confirm with the manager of McDonald's and Two Rivers that receipt records show they were there on Thursday before the 3-year-old disappeared. Okay. So they're tracking his movements and they did this. No, wait, that's not normal. You don't hold your kid's head. You're trailing him around by his head. I don't know, but I'm telling you, like, right here is just effed up. I know that feeling, kid. I absolutely do. There's your monster abuser right next to you. And so he's talking, he's like, why isn't he looking at him, right? He's not sitting there. He's looking at something at the table, though. I can't tell you what that is. He knows him as the Punisher. So he's the Punisher guy. So he's not going to be very friendly to each other. And that kid is not. He doesn't want to be near him. You could just tell. That kid's just like, and what if this kid is autistic? He could be autistic too, and that's why he has problems. I don't know if he's having problems like they tell him to stop and he won't stop. That's why I said, I actually witnessed this happen to a little kid. And the mom was trying to say that she was purposely ignoring her. And I go, no, she's not. She has something's wrong. I go, does she have autism? And so those kids got abused. And then a lot of them became serial killers, if you saw in the past. That's why we keep seeing these ones with autism. I go, I'm telling you, I don't believe that autism would cause someone to be a sociopath killer. It's this dynamic right here. This dynamic right here. Where the kid has autism and then the parents are abusing the crap out of him. I mean, massively. And it can also be somebody that has a very low IQ, and then they abuse them massively because they have a hard time understanding things. And so then the parents like, you just want to be bad, and you don't want to mind me. So then they continually abuse them. And I've noticed this. I've been pulling out some serial killers where they have extraordinarily low IQs, like in the 70s to like 80 or something. And then some are highly intelligent. And so it's not the same across the board. And they don't all have autism. You know, it's this thing. But what is equally the same in all the stories is child abuse. And that is the thing that you need to tackle. And so let's just say this kid had autism. Let's say he lived, and this is his overseer dude. This kid is going to be such a monster. You don't know what's going to come out of it. It's either they're going to be so massively mentally messed up that they'll harm themselves, or they're going to turn around and be some total gangbanger, because this family's I don't know what the hell's going on in this family, with even the dad being thrown in prison. And then the kid's going to become a massive serial killer. Like, that's your worst thing in this, or go shoot up a school. I swear to God. This right here. So I don't know if I explained it right. So yeah, he's only 3 years old, and no, to be a man, nothing. And in fact, that should be a felony child abuse crime to turn anybody into a man. So to understand what I'm saying with that, because I know these guys are going to be like, whoa, you know, this shit. Okay, so the whole concept and the idea of to be a man is a made up concept. So it's a concept that male supremacists created of their version of what a man should be. And that version is an actual sociopath. By definition, on the book, a sociopath. So they're purposely trying to create sociopaths. They're not creating a man. They're creating a sociopath. And so by that is just a made up concept. That is not an actual man. That is a made up concept by male supremacists to indoctrinate little children and groom them into the idea human that they want. So it's a manipulative thing that is abnormal in nature, that is done through indoctrination and grooming and through religions. Okay, so that's not an actual human. Same with women. It happened to women too. So they're not actual like women. They're being raised into this ideology that is a made up concept by men, male supremacists, of how women should be. And so women suffer as well. So it's not that, but it's not women that they're saying you need to grow up and be this mega sociopath and start raping the planet and controlling this thing. So the men have a different indoctrination typically than women do, but you're seeing quite a combination of all that because they've been abused. So that's just what's going to come out of it is a sociopath. But they're like legitimately going, oh no, I want you, son, to be a socio. So we're going to raise you to be one. And then they're all hot mess, right? So the whole concept of to be a man is not an actual man. It's just a made up concept, and it's child abuse. And in order to indoctrinate that, it has to come with abuse, and they are abusing the children. So therefore, I believe that it should be considered a felony, like child abuse. Like they sit there and they go, oh, we want to arrest people for trying to force our kids into being gay, which like literally no one does. Well, this is what they're doing to men. We're going to force them into being this thing, which they are not. I mean, that's the thing that you don't want any kid to be, is a sociopath. But they're calling it to be a man. It's the same thing. I told you guys it's the same thing. I kept going through this stuff. I go, there's no difference in the definition of a socio and that to be a man. None whatsoever. That's why it was together. But again, on the critical race theory, we weren't off on those portions. They just don't have a mirror on themselves of how they're acting as well onto other women. But no, yeah, they would be categorically considered, maybe even by their standards, a psychopath. Yes. But that's what they're being indoctrinated into as well. And I'm telling you, where it is being taught through So if they're being that way and they want to go hang out at church, then you are the same problem that you're crying about. So yeah. It should be a child abuse charge, just doing any of that crap. You know, be a man and then start abusing them. Don't show feeling. Yeah, start abusing them. And it's very military, right? And those guys are all hot mess. Your kids are not military. That's number one. But that again, that topic, that you can't fix that shit over there. Like one day it's gonna have to fade out. One day, not today, but one day in the history, that it'll become history. That it's got to go. If you want a sane, sound, happy world, I mean, but it has to be a global thing. It's one of those things that you have a lot of work to do before you get to that point. It would be insanity to go get rid of the military right now because the world's insane. But I'm saying that the goal in the long, long run, it probably should not be here. And then, and it could be possible. And as the world hopefully, I don't know if it's getting healthier. It doesn't seem to. But once it starts getting healthier and the technology that we have would keep things safe in case something weird happened, that wouldn't be something that anybody would need to do anyway anymore. So it would be good to see that obsolete at some time in the far off future. I mean, I would love it today, but it's not there yet. There's a lot of work to get to that point. And it would probably take some generations to work towards that. But it depends. I mean, when the globe gets sick of things, then, you know, people start to change because, you know, mostly the newer generations, because there's a lot more information now today, and they're just looking at Gen X and going, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. I said, what the hell back then? And these guys are running around all psychotic and doing horrible things, and they're the ones that are abusing the younger generations. Yeah, my generation is raping kids now. I mean, they're raping the kids of the new generation. Do we need that going on? No. They raped us when we were growing up. So why, you know, it's that cycle. It just goes back, 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 back. But the more it's being talked about, even the boys are just like, dude, no, we ain't down with this shit. Fuck football. I mean, it's not about the game. It's about the culture surrounding the mindset about that whole thing about it means to be a man if you play football. I mean, what the hell? We don't have that thing. It means to be a woman if you play volleyball. I mean, I don't know, but it's just the culture around that whole thing to be a sociopath. It's a made up concept. It's just a game. That is not anything. It's just humans creating stupid crap that abuses humanity, and and the ideal of a woman is just outrageous. I mean, they think that they're being authentic, but they're not. That idea comes from men. And so if you skirt away from it, then they come and bully you. Yes, I know my bullies well. I know my enemies. So he's trying to stop himself from driving drunk? Like, I don't know. What is that? Tell me, I'm actually dumb on this. When I took auto, we didn't have none of this. I was like in the 90s, you know? So I was like, and I don't have a drinking problem, so I don't need to breathe in something. And even if I did go out drinking, I actually know to sit back for a certain amount of hours, like I calculate, because I'm all that nerdy. It's like I had one drink. I gotta wait a couple hours. If I have two, I gotta make sure not by before this time. Yeah. Also by general feel, I know if I'm still like, woo, yeah, it's time to wait. I'll just take a nap in my fucking car, dude. I mean, some shit like that happened. I think one time I think I had to go out to my car because I had to leave somewhere, but I couldn't drive. I'm not going to fucking drive. So I think I went out and took a nap, went to sleep. I wasn't driving nowhere. And so no matter how messed up I am, it's not in me to go drive because I have morals over here. So no matter how drunk I am, I'm not going to turn around and go, oh, you know, I'm going to go get driving and drunk. No, because it's not in me. It's in you. It's not in me. There's nowhere I need to go that's important that I can't wait till another day. I was like, really? Like when I look at things like that, it could wait. I think that's just bizarre. He's getting an ignition interlock system. I can't figure it out. I mean, if I was a drunk, I wouldn't want to. I don't know. I cannot answer the conduct of these people right here. To me, what it looks like, and the family members always hate me, but it's like I just reality here. They were abusing him right before he went missing, and then the mom came. I literally just shut down that damn freaking page where the information was at. Okay, right here. And she lied about something. Okay, here's something to keep in mind. If you lie about something you're trying to hide. There's no reason to sit there and lie if you went over there to meet up. You know what I mean? It's just, oh yeah, and then I went over there on the 16th and he was totally fine. My son was totally fine and I went home. And you'd be freaking out here going, I don't know what happened here. But instead she lied. Okay, so it says, Barr eventually told investigators she was in Two Rivers for a period of time before going back to Wisconsin on the 14th. And then February 16th, here you go. She tells authorities, okay, so we know at least the kid was alive here on the 16th at this time on the surveillance. Okay, so on the surveillance, it doesn't tell us what time the surveillance is, but you can see is the time here 12:16 at what? What? I can't read it. It's like 17, is it 17:33? Is it, unless it's 1 and a slash and 33 is way over here. Is it just 1 and a slash? Okay, it could be 1 and a slash. God, why would it be 1 and a slash? My surveillance does military time, so I was just trying to look at it. So we know at least it's in the afternoon, sometime I believe, because it's light out, it's kind of that. Okay, anyway, he's alive right here at this time of day, okay? So she says, okay, Barry eventually told investigators she was in Two Rivers for a period of time before going back to Wisconsin. So she came on the 14th. She tells authorities she visited Vaughn and Elijah on Friday night. She says she saw Elijah on the couch, but he was tired. Barr left early Saturday morning, February 17th, to go back to Wisconsin. Okay, there's a weird story, though, because on the morning, we have some mix-up of information, because what I read was on the morning prior, or no, it was on the morning of or whatever, that it said that he saw him sleeping on the couch, right? On the futon. He was sleeping on a futon and he went to walk his kid to a bus stop, came back, then got Elijah to eat a bowl of cereal and then told him to stand in front of his bed and he said he went to sleep. This is his story. This is his version. Okay, so there could be some truth in some portions, like he was laying on the futon, but do we know he was alive, right? We don't. There's a blanket missing too, okay? So no kid took off and then he took his blanket with him as well, and he's a 3-year-old, he's on the run. Okay, so this is a problem. Mom lied, and then he's claiming that he came back to the futon, got him up, and then did all this. This is his claim. This is the next day after the 19th, because this is what he said on the 19th. So what happened in between all these days? This is so bizarre. Okay, it says, that night, Vaughn said he was punishing Elijah by making him stand near him while Vaughn watched a movie, and he said that he had 3 beers and took a sleeping aid. And then he said he got up at 7:30 to get his teen son up for school and on the bus. Yeah, this is like all this like in between. It's like, what? I don't understand. From the 16th to the 20th. What happened on the 17th? What happened on the 18th? I mean, perhaps the son, I don't know if he's verbal. I don't know anything. But I don't know if he could, you know, like vouch. Like he actually saw the kid. Did you see the kid? Did you not? I don't know. But we do know he's alive at some point on the 16th. I think it's bizarre that she comes by And she left on this morning of the 17th. She claims she left on the morning of the 17th. So they could be making up a whole story right here, okay? That's why I'm saying it's right in here, right in this portion. Because why would you lie? Okay, authorities say Barr lied to them about the whereabouts twice that week while Elijah was with Vaughn, and yeah. Why did she lie? She's lying for a reason, because they did something bad here. That's why I'm saying it's not a thing where the kid wandered off. It didn't happen. Because her coming on those days would have no relevance, really, other than she went to visit the kid, right? It just doesn't, like, you wouldn't lie about it. It's just a part of the story that just so happened to be, right? So when she came, something happened. So, okay, so it was the night of the 16th. She came. She saw him on the couch, but he was tired. It's just like, was he alive? He didn't move. He was laying on the couch and his body didn't even move. So, see, to me right here, there's a flag, like, right there on that evening to the next day. And then we have missing timeline. And then he's claiming some other stuff on the 19th to the 20th. I cannot tell you what the hell right here. And they got the whole town out searching like he wandered off. I'm like, that's just not. And his blanket's gone, right? That red and checkered blanket thing that they were talking about. I think it was that blanket. They said the blanket's in the picture with them. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if a kid wandered off, right, just randomly wandered, it's like, well, why is that missing? Because that's going to be important to when you find him. Okay, Vaughn says Elijah was sleeping on the sofa in the living room. Why is he always sleeping? See, in every story, oh, he was tired. He was sleeping. He's sleeping. They don't let him do anything. You know, it's like he's sleeping and he has to stand up for 3 hours at a time and then stand while his dad's watching like football. Probably was. But my mom's boyfriend, husband, that thing that she had, tried to do the same type of bullshit, but they had me sitting on a floor. At least I didn't have to stand up and sit there, this thing. But yeah. So after he got his son on the bus, he said he went back into the apartment and locked the doorknob. Jed bolted it and so nobody came in, honey. That's us, yeah. And put the security chain on to keep Elijah from walking out of the apartment. So he's just setting himself up. Like, what is he trying to say here? It's the most bizarre story ever. He's like, I put a deadbolt on. I double locked it. I did all this stuff so he don't walk out of an apartment. So yeah. So no magical being came in. He said that he woke Elijah up at 8 and they had breakfast and then went to his bedroom and he shut the door. Vaughn tells authorities Elijah was still in a timeout, so Elijah stood near the foot of his bed and prayed. It's just disgusting. And he says he fell asleep and when he woke, he was gone. So how would he be gone? He just magically disappeared out of a dead-bolted, doorknob locked place. He's going to sit there. I don't know. It's so odd to me because when you're trying to make up a story here and you're trying to cover up some shit, why would you then say that it was doorknob bolted? I'd be like, dude, the door accidentally left it unlocked coming home, walking front. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing. It's like, I'm going to set myself up even more. Damn, I locked everything. It was all gone. He was alone with me in my bedroom. I woke up and it was a mystery. He just went poof. I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, if you're going to lie, I mean, at least, let yourself have an out here. But that's the thing about this story. It's insane. Is he going to try to say, I honestly, okay, I'm trying to get into the brain of this socio dude. Because I would tell you that most of those predators would sit there and say that, I don't know, I must have left the door was wide open and my kid was gone. I don't know what happened. No, he's not even setting it up like that. He's like, I'm alone with the kid, and that's the last thing I know. So is he going to try to sit there and say he was so drugged out and on pills and drinking that he doesn't know what happened in between that. Like, I don't know. It's the oddest thing. He's going to say he had a blackout and that he must have murdered him, but he has no idea because he's such a monster, and he's going to plead insanity. I don't know, because that right there is a magical story. And if he fell out a window, somebody would have seen that. A window would be open. Just the whole thing is, I mean, how could you tell the police a story like this? Any normal person would go, why is the lie there? That's the thing that's happened in the Eton case too. I go, why is that story there from the night before? And they ignore the entire freaking thing. The lie was I mean, it's not even a lie. The mom's like, I was scared my son got kidnapped and I beat the crap out of him and, you know, chastised him to hell. And all of a sudden the next day he's gone and dead. You know what I mean? And they're like, we're going to ignore all that. We're going to look at another perpetrator that literally does not have anything to do with the story. And they ignored this really key piece. It was just the tiniest little sliver of what you needed to look at that story. And they played this game forever, and it drives me. So this thing right here is another one of those, like, I'm just going to throw this in there. I don't get it. Like, why is the lie there? Or maybe that is the truth, and the kid was just never there at the time he was asleep, and so he could say a lie. Okay, you would say a lie. Maybe he got caught. Okay, maybe he got tripped up right here. Maybe that's the truth. Okay, let me reverse. Maybe because he's a pathological liar, and when he was starting to tell the story, when he was trying to lie, now this will make sense like this. Takes me a minute. When he's making up the lie. So the truth is he did come back in the house and deadbolted the locks and everything else because Elijah was not there, or he was already dead and there was no reason to for him to be gone. You know what I mean? Like, there's no missing anything. So you would lock the door and you would do those things because there's no threat of him taking off. And so I think maybe when they were questioning him, he didn't think through his lie. And he got caught in the lie. Because do you see this? That's what I'm saying. You have to question why this thing is in there like that. It is the craziest thing. So, to me, it would tell me that he already knew the kid was dead, or the kid was actually not in the house. Now, it could be true that the kid was there, but he probably wasn't, maybe perhaps alive, and he was laying out. I don't know. Maybe they covered him. I don't know. And the other kid, I don't know how functioning the son is, and so the son probably wouldn't think twice about, you know what I mean? You just wouldn't, I mean, who would think this? Maybe he was laying there and it just would be a thing, oh, he's asleep right there. And then when they came back, he's like, I gotta get rid of the kid. Could be that, but it almost seems like something happened on the 16th, the night of the 16th and the 17th. So we can't answer that. It could be something right there, or it could be something right after, and this right here. Yeah, so I believe that's why that's there. He got caught lying. He's telling the truth. Like right here, this actually might be the truth, but it would mean that the kid was already dead, and that's the only way that a kid could magically go disappear, right? Out of a locked, dead-bolted house. It's not gonna, this is not. It's not a good story, you guys. He got caught. This is just, that is the burning bush, the talking Bernie Bush story. It's like, yeah, we locked everything up. It was all boarded up, and then I went to sleep, and all of a sudden the kid's gone. Dude, I have no idea. I have no idea where it went. He's just stupid. He didn't think his lie out. Like, it doesn't, did you see that? He's a drunk. He's a drunk and on pills, and he said that shit right there. That's why I just thought it was so weird, because usually the pathological liars would say, dude, I left my door unlocked, and somebody must have came in and took that kid. I mean, you want to at least give yourself a chance here, right? You know, like, but I do. I think that was probably the truth. So he slipped, and he actually said the truth here. But there's a reason for that. Oh, God. No, he's telling the truth right there. He could have taken a polygraph and they could have asked him, go, did you lock the doorknob and deadbolt? He'd go, yeah. But he would fail. He would probably fail. Like, was he alive here? If they asked him that question, he would probably fail right there. He would pass this, but he would fail right there. Because it doesn't make any sense any other way. It doesn't. You were the last one with him. He stood at your bed, but you said you locked the doorknob, so it means that it's an impossibility that he would be anywhere else but inside your place. Yeah, like there's been cases where they fell out windows, but they already checked all that, so you know what I mean? That would be the first thing you would look at. He was in his bedroom and he shut the door. The kid didn't get out and run away and then took his blanket. Like what? If he fell out a window, the blanket wouldn't be gone with it, would he? Yeah. So, okay, yeah, he's an idiot. He gave himself away right there. I could say that's the first time I've seen that one. But it's probably and maybe it is common. I don't know, but they trip up because like they're trying to like not get caught, but then they're like trying to stick to their story, like what they actually did. So you like actually did do that. It's like I come in, I locked all the doors. I totally locked all the doors. But now you just made the story impossible that anything else other than you killed the kid. What you have to figure now, okay, so here's a couple things. So he had enough time between 8 and 10:59 to do a disposal. That's all I'm saying with that. His story is bogus. There's no talking bush here. Okay, it's just not. Nobody went through walls. Nobody went through any of these things. None of that happened. Plenty of time to go do a cover-up job. I don't know why the mom, I see, again, you have to question why the mom lied about her version coming over. There could be additional things happening here, such as, okay, in some of these stories, the abuses were so bad that then the kids got injuries and they needed medical attention. So such as like getting knocked in the head, and they may have had a concussion, some other things going on, some other physical harm that if you didn't take your kid to the ER right away, they could die, right? Okay, so that's another thing. I don't know if something happened. There's something fishy on the 16th and the 17th, that portion right there. I don't know if something else happened where the kid was physically not okay. And then they were aware of it. I don't know. Something. And it could be just an addition here. And then finally the kid died, right? It could just be just from all the brutal abuses that were going on for the entire week. If anybody really cared about this kid, they would have never let this kid be with any of these people right here. If these grandparents or parents or anybody cared, why the hell would you have your kid around some gangbangers? I mean, what the hell? Their parents must be the same way or something, because this is absurd. But he's the typical man, because that's what they did to all the sons growing up. We're going to abuse them into this manhood indoctrinated supremacy thing and abuse the shit out of them. Force them to pray for, not usually hours, but they had them do a prayer. They would stand them in corners. They did multiple tortures. And then to turn them into a man. And then don't cry like your sister. Yeah, that's bullshit. Trying to use females as some form of we're weak. And if you act like a woman, it's bad. Okay, this is child abuse through and through. It should have never been taught. And the next parent that teaches their kid like that should be arrested. Because they're coming out harming us all. And they're criminals. And they're pathological liars. Like this guy right here. With this big old neck tattoo, with this bullshit of being a street gangbanger, and his butt, and the dad of this kid is in prison. And they were trying to raise him up into being like a gangbanger. They're like, he's gonna fear me. It's like, excuse me? That kid, and I'm telling you, that kid may have he could have had learning disabilities. I don't know what the hell. Yeah. So when they were asking them, they're like, why is he getting punished? Like, what is he doing so bad that he's getting punished for? Literally nothing. You would not abuse a kid for going to the bathroom in a diaper, because isn't that why you wear diapers? And kids are trying to, you know what I mean? So they were punishing him and throwing him into cold showers for going to the bathroom in his diaper, and it was coming out or something. But it's the parents' job to change their diaper. So what did this father do to his autistic son? Because now the son's a teenager. Holy crap. And an autistic person, and maybe he's like less functioning because he's walking him to a bus stop, that they can't comprehend the abuse that they went through. And no, oh my God, this is a horror story. I was like, oh, everything bad's gonna come out of this thing right here. And then he's a drunk and on drugs. It's like no father that's drunk and on drugs is a good father. None.